Hey everybody, I'm Meg from Loven Stamps and I'm excited to see you this morning. I didn't want to miss another Maker Mornings with Meg episode, so happy pre-Friday to everyone. I'm recording this early though because I'm actually not in my studio today, but like I said, I didn't want to miss spending time with you. So comment as usual, all those things, and I will try to check in and comment back and say hi and so forth too. But today's project for Maker Mornings with Meg is the Simply Zinnia stamp set and coordinating dies. So if you haven't seen these yet from the Online Exclusives, check the link in the video description because they are amazing. So stamps are gorgeous. You'll see those when we do our stamping. The designer series paper is the huge win on this suite. So here is a sampling of it. I'll put it down here and show you a little bit more. There is a Stampin' Cut and Embossed folder, which I realize is not super focused there, but you'll see that. And then there are dies that cut out the stamped images and dies that build zinnias. And let's face it, I mean, what is happier than a zinnia, right? Beautiful summer flowers that just go on for weeks and weeks. So one of my favorites. And they come in all colors, so there is no wrong color for working with this set of supplies. So the project I'm going to show you today is a Save Our Strips card. And the idea is that you will have a chance to just use those little tiny scraps, the ones that collect in the bottom of your designer series paper. So don't throw them away because they're really useful for a card like this. And this suite has exactly the elements that make the best of those cards. A designer series paper that has great color and pattern, a folder that gives us a great background, an embossing folder, and a stamp set that has some really great greetings, and then an accessory image for the inside of our card. So with that, what more could we want, right? Maybe some embellishments. Don't worry, I have those for you too. So let's switch our camera over and get stamping. So like I said, I would show you the paper here. So it has these gorgeous saturated colors, and one side is like sort of a main color and the other side is a pattern. So there's our pattern and our main color, pattern, main color. I think I have these back to back, so you'll get to see them lots of ways. Pattern, main color. This is the main color, and this is the pattern size. And this is one of those papers that has like a border design. So it gives you, on your 12 by 12 sheet, you have a border for this half and a border for this half. And there's lots of cool ways to use that. So, and then here's our last of them, a color and a print. So lots of possibilities for these. And like I said, the scraps that end up in the bottom of your paper package, that's what we want to use for this project. So these are our pieces. All right. So I've got a piece of basic white cardstock. This is basic white thick cardstock. When I make a card base that is going to be white, I always try to use the thick. It's just a little bit nicer feel in your hand. People talk about food and like mouth feel. This is like hand feel. It's so much nicer to use the thick for a card base. So I've also used thick here, and I've pre-embossed this for you so you can see it. Isn't that fun and pretty? But basically the way that works is you're going to use your embossing folder. This is one of the 3D ones, and you can tell because it says 3D right there on the top of it. And so when you put your cardstock in, you're going to run this through your die cut machine, and you're going to use the specialty plate. And depending on when you got your Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, that plate might be a clear blue, or it also might have this number 4 at the top and say, some words down at the bottom. So this is the specialty plate. So in that case, you're going to use your specialty plate and your big block and nothing else, okay? And if you aren't sure which runs you need, just remember the directions are printed right on here. So you can't lose them, which I love. I hate things that just randomly get stuck in drawers. So it says right here, using with 3D embossing folders, you're going to use the 1 plate, you're going to put your folder in, and you're going to use the 4 plate, okay? So it's different from using with the standard embossing folders where you're going to use the 1 plate and then 2 of the 3 plates. That's the regular clear cutting pad. So it's not hard. Just look at the directions or watch another video and I'll remind you. So it's just going to go through like this. And especially the sound effects help. These little zoop right there give you a really, really gorgeous patterned paper. So All right, so we're gonna take this and we are going to go ahead and glue this down on our card base. I really, really like using multi-purpose liquid glue for doing this part because there's so much dimension, especially on the 3D embossing folders, that I don't wanna miss having our layers adhere. And so having that glue kind of gets in the nooks and crannies and makes those bonds, and it just helps everything stick where you want it to. So, all right, so now we have our white on white layer there, but it adds that extra shadow around the edge, which just sort of frames our layer here in a really nice way, and also like gives you a solid inside. So speaking of solid insides, let's do some stamping. I'm gonna grab my Berry Burst ink pad. And Berry Burst is one of the colors that's featured in this designer series paper, so that's how I picked it. And I'm gonna ink this up and stamp down here towards the bottom, just off the edge of my card, like so. And then I will grab my chamois that comes with a glass mat so that I can just wipe off any extra ink spots. All right, so if you're waiting for a glass mat, hang in there. I haven't heard any details yet, but they're coming soon. Just don't know when, so. All right. Next, we have our strips of designer series paper, and I've got 4. These are 1/2-inch strips, and the nice thing about these is that you can just grab whatever is handy. I usually don't like curate my scraps too much. Just, you know, within any package, they're going to be nicely matched color-wise, and so pretty much anything you put on there will work. And then I'm going to go ahead and do 4. I'm not going to try and keep them straight. It's just a little less work for me, but I am going to take them off one at a time. So I like to pre-place them and then take them off one at a time so that I just have a little bit of an idea sort of where I want them to go. And that is the back of that seam paper there. Okay, oh, this feels like a lot of glue to me, but that's okay. Like I said, in this application, I like the multi-purpose liquid glue because it gets into all the nooks and crannies of a really thick embossing folder so that you know your layers aren't going to come apart. All right, and if you guys are like, wow, that card looks really simple, that's because it is. This is really not a difficult card to put together, and it works for all kinds of stamping suite ideas. So like I said, the elements that I love most about this particular Zinnia suite are the folder in the background, the pretty designer series paper, and then we're gonna add next to the greeting, and then we're gonna get to our main floral embellishments. So for this, the greeting here, sending flowers and thinking of you, I really wanted to use, but it is really long for the front of this card. So I'm gonna show you a trick for making it shorter. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna stamp this twice, or maybe more than twice. This is definitely a saving our scraps card because these are scraps of cardstock. And yeah, that's probably pretty good. Because honestly, I could just keep going if I wanted to and turn them over and go to the back and use all the pieces here. But I think we're good with what we've got. And so what I want to do is I want to turn this into 2 different colors. And the colors I've picked are into 2 different greeting strips. And the colors I picked for this match our paper. So we have petal pink and lemon lolly, which honestly is like the best, lemon yellow addition to the Stampin' Up! Colors. And so now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to split. I think I'm going to take the pink here, the petal pink, and so I'm going to cut off right at the end. I'm like floating in the middle of the air. I could do better if I was bracing this up closer. All right, and then I'm going to give it a little extra like breathing room on this side. And then on this one, I'm going to cut really close to the sending flowers so that I have a little more space on the and side of things, okay? And I guess this is a little crooked, but you know what? I don't think I have to worry about it because, where's the other one that I need? Because our paper is not gonna go on there straight, so it's not really gonna be noticeable anyway. So I have sending flowers and thinking of you. So those are going to fit like so. And to give them a little extra element of interest, I'm gonna go ahead and put them on Stampin' Dimensional. So these 1/2-inch strips are nice. They're just the right width to put a dimensional on. So I'm just gonna pop one on the back of each of these and go ahead and pop those on. Okay, so Honestly, it's kind of a cute card already. We have some bling that we're gonna add. So here's our glossy dots that are gonna go so beautifully. But I'm gonna hold off on those because I want to go ahead and do our die cut flowers. So this is, I left this, sorry about the squeak. Left this over here. So these are the die cut pieces that we're gonna use. So in addition to the dies that cut out the stamped shapes, so the flowers you've seen, and there's a leaf element here, and this one actually cuts out the big blossom. This is also the back of the paper pieced flower. So lots of uses for that. And then you could add stems and like veining on a leaf and a little like, I don't know what you call this, the little thing, cup thing that holds the flower, and some extras, some pieces there, some little extra flowers that you could pop in the middle. And actually, I don't know, maybe we should add those. I didn't add those to my sample card, so we'll see. But these are the pieces that I'm going to use to build our flower. And if you're wondering about this, my mom actually made this for me years and years ago. It's super helpful. It's nothing special. It's a dollar store frame, so a picture frame, you know, like that. And then it's a piece of magnet from the best, cheapest place to get these big pieces of magnet is honestly from the hardware store to get like the grate covers that people use to like magnet down on their the floor grates or the wall grates in their house for air ventilation. So it's like part of the ventilation stuff. Anyway, cut a piece of this and glue it down to the frame, and then you have a really handy easel that you can put right by your die cut machine, so you can just grab your dies and throw them back on. It really helps me so I don't lose these little tiny pieces there. So highly recommend making some of these. They make great stamper gifts. Like if you have stamping friends, you can make up a few, because you're gonna have a whole, like, I think a lot of times these vent covers come in 3-packs. You're gonna have a lot of this magnet stuff to use. So lots of other uses for the magnet stuff. You can pop them in the comments if you have a different idea. I know a lot of people use these. They put the magnets inside their stamp case. So inside the stamp case like this, you could glue a magnet and then, sorry. Okay, pardon. Then you could have the dies magneted into your case so that you have everything all in one box there. So my strategy is always to take my dies and rubber band them to the back. That way I can easily see whether there's a die set for the stamps that I'm using, but whatever works for you, you're gonna have magnet sheets. So, all right, so let's go ahead and do some die cutting, which I have done here through the magic of television. So I have this layer here, which is cut from Berry Burst cardstock. I have this layer here, which is cut from Petal Pink cardstock. I have this background here that I also cut from Berry Burst. I have a Parakeet Party leaf, which is my reminder to you that all of these colors are retiring, so do not miss the chance to add them to your collection. Often the cardstock and the ink refills go really quickly once the retiring lists are announced, so don't miss out on those. And then we have pumpkin pie here for this little flower center. And when I said lemon lolly and how much I loved it for the greeting, we're going to use that for our little flower ring topper here for the front of our, the top of our zinnia. Okay. All right. So let's get going with putting all these pieces together. Oh, I should also say that also in the online exclusive that came out for this, there were these glimmer papers too, and they are super glimmery. So they are the Berry Burst Old Olive and White glimmer paper, specialty papers. And they're not in any catalog. They are part of the online exclusive. So they're actually a really great match for this paper. So if you wanted to have some extra bling to coordinate or make some elements, you could like have one layer of your flower would be really pretty out of this, or even the background, whatever. That is a really gorgeous alternative. So, okay. So back to building our flower. Let's go ahead and build from the bottom up, and I'm going to do a mix of dimensionals and not dimensionals. So I think let's go ahead and do that as a dimensional, and then I'm just going to pop some glue on here to do our next layer. Now I'm kind of living dangerously to put the glue on the bottom. Usually you put the glue underneath the back or on the back of a layer, so you know it's not going to overlap the space of your paper, but we've done okay so far. And then I have this flower center, And then this flower here. Now this one, I'm gonna pop a little bit of multi-purpose liquid glue on and then pop this here down. Now, this is where I haven't actually, maybe we should just add those really fast. So these little pieces here, come out wherever you are. These little pieces here are meant to layer on the top of the zinnia. So why not, right? We'll just add a little more. And I think that I have, look, I have extra strip here. So why don't you join me? I'm going to step here and use my die cut machine. So I gotta put my pieces back together because I'm using a die, a thin die. I'm gonna use the 1 plate and the 2 plates and the die here. Oh no, sorry, and a cutting plate. Now, if you're ever thinking to yourself, like, wait, Meg told me something on Maker Mornings with Meg. What was it? How am I supposed to layer these? If you can see the directions for the thing that you're trying to use, you are in good shape, okay? So if I had this set here, it would show me to go ahead and put down number 1, number 2, and then 2 3s, okay? Now, if I had this on here and I was going to use an embossing folder, I would look at this and go, wait, there's no directions for embossing folders. What's wrong? Well, that's because you don't use this for embossing folders, just this, okay? So the plates you use have the right directions on it to just make it so much easier. I don't know about you, but I'll take all the help I can get. So, all right, so I'm gonna sandwich that between those 2 plates and run that through. And now we have a whole mess of these little tiny flowers. Okay, kind of excited about this. Now, these are a pain to pick up, so I'm going to use my take your pick tool and pop those into my hand that way. All right, oop, I've lost the other 2. This is one of those dies, since it cuts 5 at once, you're just gonna have a whole mess of these little pieces. So, all right, let's come back here. And so much easier to pick up with our take your pick tool. And so let's come to our flower, and I am going to zoom you guys in so that you can see. There we go. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the glue here on our card. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm not sure how much I got on there, but we'll see. And then I'm gonna pop these little guys onto the glue rather than trying to try to handle pieces that have glue on them. That is kind of sketchy. All right, and then it looks like I need one more little bit of glue in the middle there. Da-da-da. There we go. Okay. Oh, that's kind of cute. I kind of like it. All right, so there we have our little flower. I'll show you a version without all the extra little things on it. So, all right, then we're gonna take this and layer it here with our leaf. And you could, of course, cut as many zinnia leaves as you want. We were talking about them at my stamp club the other night and talking about like zinnia leaves. They're so sturdy. They're really nice. So you can add a few of those. And then we're gonna take this and pop this here onto our card, okay? Now, we certainly need some bling to go with this, and this is where my Glossy Dots assortment comes in. Remember to slit your packaging on the side so that you can just really easily pull out and put away your pieces. And honestly, any of these colors work. You can see I've used a bunch of the ones that they're kind of a pool party color. But I love that there is a trio for these. And these have a really strong adhesive on them. So I find that actually just sort of flipping your paper sideways helps to break that seal there. And gosh, that's not a very good description. Flipping your paper sideways. If you bend the paper, then that adhesive is gonna pop and those pieces will be much easier to pull off. So just bend the paper. And I'm gonna put 3 of them here sort of sprinkled in amongst our cards. And, oh, sorry, I hope you could see that when I was just doing that. I forget sometimes when we're zoomed in really closely. So then that is our very fun card. And then we have that pretty stamping on the inside, which of course you could repeat on the envelope. So here's another card. This one, I didn't use a pumpkin pie center. I used a petal pink center, and it doesn't have those extras. So I don't know, I kind of like both of them. I'm not sure I'm super partial to one over the other. but you guys could let me know what you think. Which one would you rather make? And then here's a card that has the same idea, but instead of using this strippy background, I've used the Simply Zinnia greeting, the words fail to express my gratitude. And then it has the shape dies with it. And I always forget the names of these shape dies. They're like essentials, something here. Yeah, nested essentials. So these are the nested essentials dies, which are nested and essentials. So probably I should be able to remember those more easily. But a really great extra. And having that little like bit of dotting around the greeting is just an extra fun thing. And then some sequins. So for this suite, these sequins are actually from the Zinnia suite. They are not available at the moment either. Embellishments were really popular. They'll be back probably at the end of April. But in the meantime, you can still get all the other pieces that you need for this card, the folder, the designer series paper, the stamps, and the dies. And then honestly, I think a really great addition for the bling on this is those glossy dots assortment. So, and these are even continuing into the new Stampin' Up! Catalog. So they've been around for a while, and they're like really popular, I guess, because Stampin' Up's happy to keep them around for us. So I'm excited. All right, as always, video description has the links to ordering supplies, and I appreciate your support and so forth. And I wish you guys, sorry, apparently I'm supposed to be doing something. A really happy pre-Friday and enjoyable weekend. And I will be back with you again, actually live on Tuesday with another episode of Make Memories with Meg. So that'll be April 2nd. That's going to come up pretty quick. Hard to believe it's April already, right? I don't know. This year is like flying. I suppose they all do, right? The more, I don't know. I was going to say the older you get, the faster they go, but I don't really want to think about that. So anyway, happy stamping, everyone. And I wish you a happy Easter weekend. And I will, again, see you on Tuesday. So take care. Happy pre-Friday. Happy stamping.